Hi, I'm Krista West. I'm the owner and designer of Avlia Folk Embroidery, and this is a mini floss tube on Ukrainian diamonds on this design. I have found it challenging with my workload right now to be doing long floss tubes, so I thought I'd try a bunch of these mini ones right now. So today we are just going to talk about one design, which I thought would be kind of fun. If you are new here, you can find all my work, all my designs and kits are available at www.avliaembroidery.com. It'll be in the notes below. You can also follow me on Instagram to see what's going on day to day in the workshop. And my Instagram handle is Krista M. West, also in the notes. I am getting started with Pinterest, but it's a little slow. I'm still trying to figure out threads. So, I do what I can. So, if you found me here, you clearly found me on YouTube. I also have a bunch of how-to videos if you're interested, and I'll probably point to those at the end of this video. So, where to start? So, I'm the owner and designer of Avlia Folk Embroidery, and I specialize in all kinds of traditional folk embroidery. When I first started, most of what I designed was Greek folk embroidery. But as I've gotten kind of farther and farther into folk embroidery, I've really come to appreciate the folk embroidery traditions of many different lands. That was kind of kickstarted for me about 3 or 4 years ago when a friend of mine found a cache, a big pile of pre-World War II Latvian needlework booklets for me. And I was just stunned at how many of the motifs were really common to all kinds of folk embroidery, to Greek embroidery. I'd see things that I had seen in Greek designs and vice versa. So the world of folk embroidery is very big and very diverse and very connected, really. So today I wanted to talk specifically, though, about Ukrainian embroidery. Now, one caveat. I am by no means an expert on Ukrainian embroidery. I feel like I am really just starting to kind of dip my toe into the water of Ukrainian folk embroidery. But I've done 3 or 4 designs now, and they've been very popular, and I have people regularly asking me for more. I've actually had this design in the works for over 1.5 years. And here's what happened. So I got the beautiful vintage piece, which I'll show you in a minute. I designed I did an adaptation of it, new colorway. I sent it out to a sample stitcher, and then I waited and waited and waited and waited. And this is a sample stitcher that I haven't used very much. And she just never sent it back. And so once 1 year had gone by, I was like, okay, we got to start over. And Pamela, my beloved workshop assistant, who totally keeps my sanity, she was like, can I stitch that one? And I was like, please. She really loves Ukrainian designs. And so she wanted to stitch it. So I finally have it ready to go. I'm going to be releasing it really soon here. It's probably going to be an early September release. And because I just can't wait anymore to release this. It's just been too long. So I'm going to just sneak it in there. Probably going to be another month where I release 2 designs because I have 2 designs to release. I try to release only 1 a month, but sometimes I just have really good stuff and I need to release 2. So, for those of you who are kind of new to Ukrainian embroidery, one of the most traditional pieces that's made in Ukrainian embroidery is called a rishnik. And it's an icon scarf. It's basically a scarf like this. It's not meant to be worn on a human. It's actually in a Ukrainian home on the family's icon wall. They will put these around the icons. And I recently learned that in some families, the rishnik, which is typically made on specialty rishnik fabric, which I still cannot locate. I have been working with my mill in Greece to find out if they know of a supplier, but right now with the conflict in the Ukraine, I just don't think that it's going to be possible for a while to get rishnik fabric because it's woven very narrow so that you don't have to finish the sides. That's a really practical thing, because these are often gathered up like this. And if you had a really heavy hem allowance or even had a drawn thread hem there, it'd be probably a little bit too bulky to get the effect that you want. But basically they hang like this and they're typically embroidered with a border at either end. And then sometimes they're finished off with crochet. Oh, I have another one that a friend sent me from Ukraine that I'll need to pull out. It's really beautiful. It's black and red with roses on it, and it's even larger. It's probably almost half again as big as this one. But I was really wanting to do more Ukrainian designs, and I was searching, and I actually was able to find this vintage one that is very clearly from the 70s. So the design is very classic, very beautiful, with this gorgeous diamond work and these little meander designs. I'm gonna get that a little closer so you can really appreciate that. And some outlining work, some back stitches to create outlining. But the color palette with this literally neon orange, to my mind, left a little bit to be desired. And I loved the design, but this is one of those times where choosing a really hip at the time color, after a number of years, it just doesn't really work anymore. So, I mean, it's a beautiful piece, but I find the neon orange a little bit bright. So I wanted to do something that was inspired by this traditional ruchnik, but in a more traditional colorway. So I designed it, and Pamela just finished stitching it. And so we have, it's coming up. You can see I have it draped over the pillow form because I need to finish it this week. I haven't finished it yet. But this is the new Ukrainian Diamonds design. We've worked it on a smaller stitch count and with a more updated, cooler palette. I'm using the word updated, but realistically, this is a more really traditional. This is kind of returning it to a very traditional, little bit of, it's not orange, it's actually alizarin. And then we swapped out the 347, sometimes it's called, DMC calls it salmon, and sometimes it's called bright coral, but that really classic Ukrainian red, because I wanted to preserve that beautiful, intense coloration of the Ukrainian red and black feel. I love that look. It's just so vibrant and energetic, and I love it. And so then, because we can't get ruchnik fabric, I went ahead and designed it as a cushion cover, because I thought this would be a really great way that a lot of people could use this design. However, it could also, you could work it longer and make a long table runner, would be beautiful. And you could still actually use it as a ruchnik if you wanted to just very narrowly hem the edges of the fabric. We've worked this on the 30 count Mikini, which is a mercerized cotton fabric that I import from Greece. It's a traditional folk embroidery fabric. And it's the closest, it's not identical to the ruchnik fabric, but it's as close as we had of all of our traditional fabrics. And we really felt like the white, like a lot of the Ukrainian designs just really work really, really well on white. So I wanted to do this on white. And the design is just so rich. I mean, it's just amazing. So you've got all these diamonds, and then you've got this really fabulous little motif that's repeated a ton of times where it's 2 stitches kind of outlined by other stitches. Let me see if I can get up close about that. This little guy here that creates this really, really great, almost crenellated border. And then you've got really lovely cross motifs made out of diamonds with more of that little crenellation detail. And then the thing that really just drew me to this design, though, was this wonderful outer border that's got the blue and the green, and then this fabulous red design, this motif, this geometric motif outlined in black. Really fabulous design. And again, I will have this up just basically as soon as I can. I am going to be sewing it into a cushion cover this week and getting it photographed. And it is like my top priority because I know so many people want Ukrainian designs and I want to be able to provide more of those. And this is not the only one I have in the works. I have some other ones in the works that I'm pretty excited about too, coming over the next year. So that is Ukrainian diamonds. And this is our little mini floss tube. And I want to thank you for joining me today.